Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful afternoon. It's funny because although I'm talking to a room full of people, here I only get to look at a very unresponsive microphone, but it sure helps with the stage fright. Um, anyway, I'm Priyanka Suresh, and I'm from International Institute of Information Technology, Hyderabad. And I'm going to be talking about collaboration workflows in digital archives and collections. Um, to support a wholesome thematic research, exploring the electronic space becomes important as well as it overcomes challenges such as space and time, especially collaboration over space and time in the archival context. And I would like to present my research within this domain. Um, so as we see, what is this electronic space that I'm talking about and the interface for digital humanities research? Uh, we want to specify certain requirements, and we've come up with three ventures, which is curation, collaboration, and presentation, and corresponding solutions for each of these ventures. In For example, technological agency, if we have objects or scrolls, photographs of these objects would be stored in image, that is PNG or JPG formats, or a performative art piece would be stored videographically in an MP4 or WMV format. So those will be the technical affordances of their respective material counterparts, and we need to build a web interface that can handle the said specific technical requirement. We also have community moderation for collaboration. So, as it is a challenge with any collaboration platform, there are communities with identities and influence over a network, and we want to create useful knowledge and effective sharing. So we have come up with a space for such moderated collaboration. And pedagogical discourse, of course, we need a method for presentation. So when there are academics, we have a very guided method of having this discourse. If we see further on the whys of the interface, we need an electronic space because it helps creation of that space. It gives us flexibility in terms of empowering us into the whole curation and collaboration process, while defining our boundaries with the help of moderators and academics and guides. So with these roles for curators and technical managers, domain experts can come together and share knowledge, and that is the point for the juxtaposition of dialogue, where everybody brings in their expertise, and then there's a confluence of all of their resources. This is also one of the major advantages of an electronic space, as different people with different area expertise across space can come together to venture across institutions into digital humanities research for the sake of knowledge preservation. I would like to go a bit deeper into this how aspect of the model, which is we've found three methods into the whole curation, collaboration, and presentation process, which is curating the metadata models, or standardizing the metadata models, and giving a platform for publishing, as well as exploring the archives. So a bit further into that, I would like to share a tool that we have come up with, which is called Curarium, and how we go deeper into each of these three models is for metadata models, we standardize an import so that we give a specific set of guidelines to the collection provider on how to provide his collection, on how he can bring in effective knowledge. And to go deeper into the thematic research, we have record-specific metadata, which is a more interactive process of identifying certain fields which will be useful. Coming over to the publishing part, where we have annotations, so the visitors and curators can go in, annotate the images or the audio files, and build arguments around a specific object or a specific collection. Spotlights here is a word that we've coined for publishing essays or writing academic essays or papers, drafts, thoughts, and so that it can be shared amongst one's circles or across a network. And trays here is a collection of items across various collections. So it's more like a sub-collection or your own collection of different objects. This helps us build relations across collections and across items within the same collection, even in case we want to make arguments for that particular subset. Moving on to exploring. We have visualizations, which is such a powerful tool in interpreting cultural objects, especially when we have large data sets. Viewing them over a cool visualization helps us succinctly get the point. And surrogates, of course, here I'm talking about the digital surrogate, which is the photograph or the technical affordance of the material object, but also the related objects of the said digital object. I hope you guys are with me and like you're not too sleepy after lunch or something. All right, so let's move a little bit deeper into Curarium. I guess this is going to be the fun part, right? Yeah, so standardizing import. For the collection provider, we've standardized the whole importing a collection process, where we're giving him a certain set of general fields, if you look to the left here, where he'll be able to write about the collection and given some sample data, and he inputs the collection in the JSON format as a zip file of the different JSON records, and then he passes his JSON. So if you look at the center of the page, you will notice the fields of interest that we've singled out and the corresponding data associated with the fields of interest. And then on the right hand side, we've given him certain very specific metadata fields that he needs to include, like the unique identifier and the image or the thumbnail. And if we move on to the next screen, we'll see that he's able to drag and drop the collection JSON file into the active fields. And there's also this very neat space for him to come up with his own custom fields. So if he thinks that a certain part of the collection requires more metadata, he is free to add that bit of data. And this allows so much room for flexibility and interpretation, especially from the collection provider's point of view in the way he is presenting his collection. If we move forward, when we're talking about record-specific metadata models, when we're looking at specific objects, if you look to the left, we're able to view at the metadata corresponding to that particular object. As a visitor, I also have the capability of suggesting some metadata fields to the collection provider, and if he thinks that yeah, sure, it's bound to be included in the collection, then he is free to do so. Otherwise, I can just use it in my own tray. Remember, I told you about the sub collection, so I can use these added fields in my own sub collection, of course, with the collection provider's approval. Now we talk about annotations, which is the most fun part, in my opinion. So we use Canvas.js, and we go very deep into object-specific research with annotations, where we have a canvas and we can zoom in, zoom out, single out a particular portion. Like, for example, in this image, I've tried to single out the man in front of the dome and write about it, give it titles, and then these become the surrogate objects within your sub collection for this specific object. So really, you have a very interactive and intuitive, of course, interactive way of dealing with these objects and making building context and relations with the objects themselves. Spotlights is another great tool where you're able to write academic essays or publish your thoughts, whether it's a draft or a final thought, and then you can share it whether publicly or privately or within a certain set of people within your circles. So you're able to build more arguments and enable pedagogical discourse in this manner. There's also trays, which, as I told you about, it is the sub collection where you're building relations across objects within and across collections, and of course with the approval of the collection provider. And this is also a very fun part of the tool, which is visualization. So currently we have about 6 visualizations, which are object maps, color filters. Object maps are, of course, getting a bird's eye view on the large number of objects within a collection. Color filters, where you're able to filter out certain colors, and if you pick a certain kind of blue, then all of the objects that have that kind of blue within this collection will be popped up on the screen in front of you. We have list views, thumbnail views, tree maps for subcategorization, and we're also working on geospatial and timeline maps, so we'll have a very concise view on the whens and the wheres and hows of where these objects are from and how they've been archived. Surrogates, of course, are the digital surrogates as well as the related digital surrogates of the object, where you're able to go into each object and then look at the related items within the object as given by the collection provider in his JSON. And here, if you notice, we have put in the lifecycle workflow schema, that is the whole import, and then you query it, you make sub collections of your own, you curate it, whether you're the collection provider or if you're a visitor, then you will have suggestions to make, you annotate it, you find themes and you put it within your collection, you're able to query it using the HTML5 affordances. And then you're able to really go into depth here with the visualizations, with coming up with your publishing and the collaboration aspects of it. And we have followed the DCC protocols of object management and access. And this is a cycle of discovering, annotating, comparing, referring, sampling, illustrating, and representing within a moderated forum and with affordances and tools, so you're able to do this effectively. And last but not least, I've put together the technical and the affordances of the technical collaboration and curatorial aspects of our tool, where we're using Ruby on Rails. We have it's all very data focused, data driven research in the digital humanities, where we're using uh, PostgreSQL, lifecycle management tools, project management tools. We have identification and authentication using Mozilla Persona, and you need an academic email to be able to log in and make these arguments. We have Canva.js and various JavaScript libraries, D3, for really going into these records through annotations and visualizations and spotlights. And of course, for the curatorial aspects, the collection provider has a lot of flexibility along with governance, so he's able to provide a good collection as well as maintain it over time, and so there is no obsolescence of knowledge, while there can be a good preservation for knowledge. So this is our project Curarium. If you would like to check it out, we'd be very happy. You could go ahead to www.curarium.com, and if you have any questions or queries, or even if you want to say something, say hi even, please write to me at priyanka.suresh16@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to answer all your questions. Thank you so much for lending me your ears this fine afternoon. I hope you're having a good time, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.